All right, guys, the next step in writing your paper is to go back and revise your writing to include a refute. The refute is where you acknowledge that you are not the only side of this argument. There is another side of the argument, and they probably have some pretty valid points, but perhaps maybe just not as valid as yours. At least that's the impression you want to give in your writing. So you don't want to ever write a persuasive paper that doesn't have a refute in it, because then it sounds like you're not maybe considering what others are saying. You want to try to, have some sort of a balanced argument, but not so balanced that you're sitting on the fence. When you sit the fence, it means you're saying, oh, well, I'm right, but also you're right. And if we're both right, then how can I write a persuasive paper? Because you're persuading me to not make any choice at all. So I've already added the refutes because, believe it or not, there was a video that didn't record sound, but I went back and I've highlighted them for you so you can see where we added them. Originally, it said there's been a great debate on this topic in the United States recently, as the Boy Scouts of America has recently announced that girls will be allowed. Oh, I have recently in there twice, and I just now caught that. All right, I'm going to take out this recently. Always revising, has announced that girls will be allowed to be part of the Boy Scout programs. And so now I've added a refute. While some may say that allowing females into the organization is completely the opposite of what Boy Scouting should be, others argue that allowing girls to participate in the younger grades is simply a formalization of what is already occurring. And that is exactly the argument I'm making here, that it's simply a formalization of allowing what's already occurring. While other people are arguing that, hey, it's Boy Scouts, has the boy in the name, shouldn't have any girls at all. And so I'm kind of saying, yes, I hear what you're saying, but here's what I'm saying, and I'm going to give you some support as to why I think this way. I then had to rewrite this sentence. Girls are already encouraged to become active in the BSA programs. I had to tweak some language there to make it flow, and that's part of the revising process as well. You're going to have to tweak the language as you go to make sure everything flows together as you make additions. I went through, because it is a long paper, and I added another refute, a more specific one, down here in the camping section when I was talking about, at the end of the day, families return to their own tents where sisters sleep alongside mothers and fathers, and of course, their brothers. And then I added, these aren't teenagers looking to sneak off in the woods together, because that is a common thing, is nobody wants teenage girls camping in tents next to teenage boys. What could happen? And so I say, well, yes, these are not teenagers, though. I'm not talking about that argument. I'm talking about young girls who will be snuggled into child-sized sleeping bags right next to their parents. So that's a refute. I say, hey, I hear what you're saying, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something a little bit different here. So that is the way the refute should work. So you could add in multiple refutes if you wanted to. Each paragraph could have one. Some would say this, but here's what I'm saying. Or you could just add them once or twice just to say, hey, I hear what you're saying, but here's what I'm saying, and some support for that.